Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a hot take follow up. I think this is my second follow up on Portland's quote Antifa war camp. It's really an encampment for homeless people. And this is a piece in an opinion piece in the Post Millennial. Now, this is a paper that, media outlet, I should say, that Andy No works for. But this is an opinion piece, not written by him, written by somebody named Ari Hoffman. And first and foremost, I have to thank one of my subscribers, Be Good to Me, for sending me this link. Thank you so much, because this is a great follow-up, and no one else is really following up. Now, it is an opinion piece, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. So here's what we know so far. We know that the guy who went and videotaped this identified this shirtless guy here as, yeah, I know, Joe, trumpet guy. And I believe he recognized one other guy. Joan, I'm doing a thing. I believe he recognized one other guy. So two guys from Antifa at least. Now, there didn't appear to be a lot of people at the camp when he was there. Maybe just a handful. But, my point was, if this is true, this is very illegal. Joan, I know it's very illegal. Here, you want to come over here? You're making an annoyance of yourself as usual. As usual. Okay, you happy? So, but this guy is saying, and with some proof here, that this is really a encampment for the beer virus for homeless people. And here they are building it here prior to it being inhabited. There are 3 sites, 2 on the southeast Water Avenue and 1 near the west side base of the Broadway Bridge. Will also group residents in a way that has rarely been done in Portland shelters. One site will give priority to LGBTQ people. One is for people of color. Anyone who wants services to those sites will also be allowed to camp there. The third site will be for everyone, with emphasis on older people. Each location has 45 tents on platforms with cots inside for individual person or couple. The city will provide sleeping bags and tents to ensure they are clean and hygienic. Blah, blah, blah. Each one's 12 by 12. And almost 5 months later, these temporary measures appear to show no sign of being removed and are now housing some of the people rioting nightly in Portland. But it is hardly an Antifa war camp. Well, I would disagree with that. How many of the people there are going to the protest and rioting? Excuse me. Let me back that up. How many of these people are rioters? I think the cops should know. If they are going back there and being resupplied by the city and then going out and destroying the city, that can't be legal. Okay? It can't be legal to do this. It can't be legal to give supplies. If you rob a bank and you hold the door for the bank robbers and give them water and do all sorts of innocuous things to help the bank robbers, you're helping a bank robbery. Okay? But it gets worse. Okay? So you could argue that, well, they're not all Antifa rioters. And that is an argument. Except when you scroll down in this article about share, which is, I guess, the anagram for the system that's running this in Seattle. While Antifa members come from various backgrounds, says the op-ed, it appears that the rioters in Portland are following a Seattle model of using the homeless for activism. Seattle Marxist Council member Kishma Sawant will often work with city-funded homeless groups in Seattle, most notably Share. According to David Preston, who operates Safe Saddle and did for a full investigation of Share practices, Share shelter residents get participation credits for attending political demonstrations and rallies. Each resident must earn a number of these credits each week. Otherwise, they face immediate evictions. Other options for earning the credits include doing trash pickup, guard duty at camp, and other menial tasks. Compared to doing hours of trash pickup or standing sentry at 2 a.m., sitting through a meeting at City Hall must look good. Using the participation credit system, Morrill can virtually guarantee a good turnout at rallies or protests. Now, this was in Seattle, and I would greatly suspect that Portland has something either on the books or off the books going on very similar. But beyond that, what do you think the homeless are going to do when a bunch of Antifa guys come up to them and say, hey, listen, brother, we're here out in the streets fighting for you. We want to make everyone equal. See, the reason you're poor is because your labor was stolen from you. See those people with a big house? See those people with a car and a job and a career and family? You should all have that too. They stole it from you. They stole it from you. And if you protest with us and support us, well, we're going to get that for you. And you'll have a house and a guaranteed job and food and comfort. That sounds like a pretty good pitch for homeless people. And that's the pitch for communism. So add that to the fact that homeless people, well, they got nothing else going on, really, other than survival. You're offering them means to survive easier. Many of them have a drug problem, or they also have a mental illness. So when some college kid pitches this, regardless of their status, they're going to go with the people who have food. Antifa has been feeding people, okay? If I was homeless, I would totally go with these guys because they got food. Riot ribs is free to anybody who participates in the riots. All I got to do is show up, and once I start showing up, oh yeah, I know this guy. He lives in the camp with Trumpet Man. Yeah, no kidding. This isn't an Antifa encampment. This is an Antifa recruitment center, in my view. So that would be my new guess to what this really is. Tuesday, a homeless encampment in Cal Anderson Park in downtown Seattle was shut down. Well, we all know about that. That was the Chaz. While this is most likely not an Antifa war camp, it is undoubtedly true that the encampment is being used as cover for illegal activity and that the residents are being used by the rioters to bolster their numbers. The question now becomes, will Portland authorities investigate and search encampments to find out what's really going on? No, but I know who will, the FBI. And I guarantee you, some of them already know about these camps and have probably been there several times and infiltrated it. If not, they're just living there. Because keep in mind, too, not every college student has that big of a budget, right? There's some college students, they just got barely into college. Their parents aren't super rich. They're okay. They're doing all right. They can afford the college, but they can't keep fronting the money for every, flights to and from Kenosha or wherever there's a protest. So at some point, you got to cut corners, right? This would be a way. And there's a lot of people who are over the age of being in college, right? There's a lot of people who, well, they're college kids, but they're too old to be college kids, if you know what I mean. They're living that life still, and they're usually broke. So this homeless encampment, well, it's a perfect solution, right? Oh, I'll go down to the homeless encampment. I'll get a free room and board. I'll live there rent-free until they close it up. And I'll save a ton of money. Not that you're even making any, but this is an opportunity to bank some money. If you got your S together and you don't mind sleeping in the cold, and you don't have a bunch of stuff to lose, this is a perfect solution, right? You go down, you sleep there, you're banking money, you're just throwing it in the bank for when this is all over, right? So even if the communist revolution doesn't happen, you could just walk away with, your unemployment, which was really high this time because they gave you an extra $600 a week. So imagine all that unemployment just being banked. That's it was like over 10 weeks, right? It's probably like no, it was 3 months. 3 months is unemployment. So that's 12 weeks. That's $7,200 on top of the unemployment, which would, at minimum wage around here, would be half that. So another you're talking 10K. So all I got to do is sleep in this encampment, and keep in mind these people. I couldn't do it. I'm 54. There's no way I'm sleeping in that camp unless I'm destitute. But sleep there, bank all that money. Just need your card. Just keep an eye on that. Other than that, what else do you need? You got your clothes. You got a shower there. You're doing black block stuff every night anyway. Who cares if you got a couple extra hoodies and pairs of pants? You just wash them and go. You smell like tear gas and shame. So what difference does it make at this point? So I think either way, this is illegal, right? So if they're using this encampment to push the homeless into showing up to the riots to bolster their numbers. And look, some of these homeless people are going to be just like the college kids. They're going to get caught up in it. And I wouldn't blame them. You've been living on the streets, let's say, for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Now somebody comes up to you, hands you food, hands you clothes, gives you a place to live. Not that they're giving it, but, brings you to the encampment, says, hey, treat you like a brother. Yeah, you'd be pretty loyal to them. I think you would. And if all you got to, and then on top of the fact, the looting and the rioting, I mean, that's a bonus, right? Oh, some looting and rioting? Yeah, I'll smash into the shoe store and get myself a pair of shoes or two. Everybody else is doing it. Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I get some? Oh, boy. If you're homeless anyway, look, it's tough to live on the streets. And this isn't a slam against homeless people, but it's tough to live on the streets. Sometimes you got to steal to survive. But if you're already homeless, you've already done that. Plus, you got to cover all these idiot college kids. It's a no-brainer. I mean, this is your chance to really stock up on some stuff. If you're really working it, you're going to be stealing stuff left and right, bringing it back to the camp, unloading it, making some money, making some bank, until this is over, whenever that happens. Besides the fact you're getting free food and, these college kids, they're easy to dupe. I mean, they don't have real world experience like a guy who's been living on the street for 8 years. He'll run circles around these kids. He'll talk them out of their iPhones and their laptops in 10 seconds. If they just don't straight up rob them, they'll smoke the pot. I mean, one of the things that happened in the Chaz was there was a post that said, the homeless guys showed up and took all our food. Yeah, no kidding. They're hungry. They see a bunch of free food. Oh man, I better grab this while it's here. They'll eat all the damn food. They'll show up like a plague of locusts, until the food's gone, and then they're gone because they got to eat. It's about survival. It's not personal. So so this is very interesting information if it's to be believed. Now it is an op-ed, so but it seems pretty thorough. It seems, I mean, they got this. They took a picture of this. This seems like it is a legit thing. But there's no question these guys, to me, seem to be Antifa. So I think it makes total sense that at least a good portion of these camps are Antifa members who are there actively recruiting people. Why not? I mean, they need mobs of people to make their stuff work. Without a mob, I mean, you can't show up to a riot with 4 people. It's just not going to work. And the more people they have, the better. I mean, because when the cops just see, hundreds of people rioting in the streets, the only downside is none of these homeless guys are going to be able to afford helmets and padding and, black bloc outfits. I assume the Antifa guys are supplying them with that if they are, in fact, in these riots. If that's the case, though, who's paying for that? If it's these Antifa guys, then they're directly responsible to adding to facilitating criminality. I think this entire camp is. If these people are coming out and rioting in the streets, you got a serious problem here. Now, obviously, since this was supposed to be an encampment for the homeless, I don't think you're going to see anybody arrested unless you've got a ridiculous program like they had in Seattle. In which case, I think there are some serious questions to how a city government can spend the money. I mean, if your city government imagine it was something like this. Imagine your city government was discovered paying for the hotel rooms of KKK members who had come to give a rally. I think you'd be pretty pissed off. I think you'd be like, what? What the hell, man? We don't want to pay for that. I mean, do you want to pay for communist insurgents to run amok in your town and light fires and shoot fireworks at the cops and throw bricks through windows? I don't think you would. And, the moment this gets political, that's when these people do not have a place in a city-run homeless camp. This is not supposed to be political. You don't use city money or government money to prop up political causes. It's absolutely, that has to be illegal. Again, has to be illegal. Has to be. Otherwise, you'll have every group in the city, well, where's our encampment? You'll have every stray political outfit saying, well, we need an encampment too. If you gave an encampment to these guys, you got to give an encampment to us. But the hammer's being lowered, and these guys are going to get caught up in it. Now, are they going to go after the camp? I kind of doubt it. Now that we know it's a homeless encampment, I think though there is a chance that they may roll up the entire Portland city government at some point, if they can directly connect anyone in government into facilitating crime. That's the difficulty, because they won't facilitate crime directly. They'll facilitate the protest. Oh, well, it turned into a riot. That's not on me. So they kind of know what they're doing. It's when you catch them in an email or a call or, witness statement saying, oh no, they told us to recruit rioters. Then yeah, no, we were recruiting for Antifa. They're going to roll some of these people. They're going to roll right over and testify against their comrades. You watch. When that happens, it's going to be so sweet. They're going to be writing books. There's going to be TV specials. You're going to hear about this endlessly. All the machinations that were going on during this time period behind the scenes in Antifa, and their connections to the Portland government. Because I guarantee you, these people are too arrogant to have covered their tracks properly. They're just way too arrogant. Then a lot of them are honest believers in the revolution. Therefore, they have no reason to cover their tracks. If you think the state's going to be torn down, why would you cover your tracks? Doesn't make any sense. So that's only going to slow you down. So, you guys keep it up. You keep videotaping your crimes and doing what you do, because they're coming to get you, and you're going to jail. Ha ha ha.